All right, so balls deep. Took a couple of futures. I did some futures in baseball, and we're going to address these. It might take a few minutes, but we'd like to go over each of them, and then we'll look back at the end of the year, see how we did. These are baseball futures. Basically, you can pick a side and wager dough and win some dough back. Number one, Cubs under 73 wins. That's as obvious as the day is long. That team is a bunch of idiots. It's like chickens with Down syndrome with their heads cut off. Watching them run around and bump into each other and just watching silly things happen. They've got a back end of the pen that's pretty decent. Carlos Marmol, if he could ever get his head out of his ass, is a fine closer. He's got an incredible slider, can throw like 97. I'm not sure he knows where the ball's going when he throws it. He's very wild. But the team has nothing anywhere. Their minors are loaded, but none of the guys are ready. Diamondbacks over 85.5. You know, that's a risky one because this team was very lucky last year. But I think they've got talent, certainly offensive talent. The back end of their bullpen is really good. Their eighth inning guy, David Hernandez, their closer, J.J. Putz. I don't know if he can stay healthy. I do think the Giants are going to be really good. But I didn't do the Giants. I really don't enjoy that style of play, which the team calls torture. So what this team does is they go out and they don't sign offensive players, basically, and then they figure out a way to get their TV announcers to market their bad offense. And instead of them calling it crappy, they call it torture. And then they get the fans to buy signs that say torture and bring waterboarding supplies. It's really ironic considering San Francisco hates Dick Cheney, how much they talk about torture. Detroit Tigers over 92.5 wins. That team is loaded. That division is garbage. That is going to be a really good team. A really good team. Funny thing is, Valverde already blew a save today, and last year he didn't blow one the whole year. Twins under 73.5. That one hurts me because I'm a big Twins fan. But Morneau's toast. I don't think he's a 340 hitter anymore. I certainly don't think he's going to hit 20 home runs. Not in that park. He can't catch. He always gets tired or bilateral leg sickness. So they're going to have to move him to first base. Morneau, I think he's about done. That team doesn't have one pitcher who's anything even above average. Their bullpen is horrific. Matt Capps sucks. The team is garbage. There's no upside anywhere. Mets under 72.5 wins. That speaks for themselves. I mean, we'll see if the Mets are even decent, but I think they're going to trade David Wright and Johan Santana by the deadline. Oakland A's under 71.5. There's no upside there either. I mean, what can they do? They have no funds. They have no stadium because the Giants block them because the Giants don't want anyone to have money but the Giants so that the Giants can use that money to, I don't know. What do the Giants do with that money? You know, that reminds me. So you go back, and the Giants signed Barry Zito 5 years ago. And you go back and look at Barry Zito's statistics before the Giants signed him. And there isn't, outside of his 1 year when he was like 23-5 and got Cy Young, there's really no years that he was that good. Every year he had like a mid-3s ERA with like a 1.3 whip. In the year the Giants signed him, he had a 3.8, a high 3 ERA with a 1.4 whip. A 1.4 whip is horrible, and the Giants gave him the biggest contract any lefty had ever received. It doesn't even make sense. Nationals over 84, I just think that team's going to be good. I think that team can compete because I don't think the Phillies are going to be able to hit this year. And of course, the Phillies have the 3 best pitchers in the world, but I think the Nationals have a better offense than the Phillies, and I think their starters are pretty good. The Tampa Bay Rays over 87.5, best team one of the best teams in baseball, best pitching in baseball, bullpen shaky, best defense in baseball. They and the Rangers. I know their division's tough, but I think they should be able to win over 90. Braves under 86.5. Everyone's high on the Braves, and they certainly have good pitching and a good pen, but I don't really like that offense. I really don't like that offense. Same thing as last year. They just have trouble putting runs together, and they can't hit lefties. Orioles under 69 wins speaks for itself. Every year, the Orioles win under 69. Blue Jays over 82.5. I'm pretty high on the Blue Jays. I think this team can rake. They've got some young pitchers, Brandon Morrow, J.C. Romero, Kyle Drabek. Maybe they'll turn the quarter. Maybe they won't. But I think they can rake. I don't think anyone doubts they're a top 5 offense in baseball. They are in a tough division. They only have to win 83 games. So those are just the over-unders I did. We'll go over the props later this week, the individual player props. But I'm very excited for this year. We had a very, I don't want to say exciting opening day or two because it wasn't that exciting outside of the Indians and Toronto Blue Jays game. But we've got some winners here. And we probably have some losers too. Balls deep.